Hello. Now I have a feeling these games are going to be much easier for us on the play. And this hand is a little suspect, but we could draw into something good to do. And honestly, if we have enough land to start with here, that if we go 5-6 Deviant Glee, could be strong. Look at this. Look at our opponent. The art of our card here is like our opponent's art. Who is this? Morphling? The red Morphling? They're just morphing into their opponent, I guess. I don't know. I guess it is a Morphling. Morphling could be anything. Crawl Warrior, so Simic time. We're gonna have to punish this enemy if we ever get there. If we're not dead before then. Being on the play is huge here. The time you wouldn't want to be on the play is if you have a lot of removal and card draw and things like that. Or not so much card draw, but mostly removal. Oh, there he is. Spiked Jester. We could even Deviant Glee him up. But I'm not going to try to... You know, if we did that, they'd definitely block. So, and we wouldn't even get the trample this turn. So that's a question. Are they going to block this, or are they going to try to get in for 1,000,000 damage next turn? They probably don't block it, if I had to guess, yeah. This deck, if you haven't heard of Reach, and I'm not talking about the ability on Giant Spider, this deck is basically a lesson in Reach. Are they going to block with this time? I wonder. Doesn't really matter. I'd be okay if they blocked, because that's an evasive threat we don't have an answer to right away. Yeah, that's fine. Razor Tip Whip. But here it is. We're beginning our Reach. We've run out of creatures. Now we just have to do the rest of the damage with our tallness. Oh boy, Selesnya Keyrune. At least it means we're only taking 4 this turn. Oh, Stab Wound. Okay. Listen up. Let's get out this Spawn of Rixmati. And I think we leash it. Do we leash it? Are we dead next turn? Like, they're missing land drops, which is great for us. But I think we leash this guy. It's just going to... You know, the 1/1 counter we get from him is not going to be enough. And it could prevent a lot of damage this turn. Like, if they want to attack in with Beetle Form Mage and spend the mana, or they... Ooh. Crassus Incubation. Alright, bedtime. Rixmati can wake up in 100 years or so. Well, that's pretty good. It's a little too expensive, but otherwise pretty good. Are we dead next turn? Okay, this turn we have to punish the enemy. Next turn we might be able to Augur Spree, Stab Wound. Just don't have white mana here. Okay, that's a good start. Got a lot of mana, just not white mana. Come on, nothing. Hey, don't worry, it's just Nov Squad Commandos. Can we beat that? Maybe. We didn't draw land, though. So maybe not. Okay. What are his options here? Bellows Lizard to chump, or Bellows Lizard to trade with Crawl Warrior? In any case, I think it's going to be Bellows Lizard, and probably Augur Spree on the Crawl Warrior while we can. Because they can pump that next turn. That's not what I want to see. And here, we might have to chump the Commandos, especially if they draw white for the Keyrune. And no, reason that they draw white this turn, but at least we're alive if they do. And we have a whip to get them. This was a pretty slow start for us, and you can see why that's kind of a problem against another aggressive deck. So what's it going to be? Commandos coming in. Yeah, we have to block it here, because later it'll be attacking for 1. We can kind of, I don't know, I have all these stops on here. We can kind of stab wound it. They don't have a super efficient way to shed it. Oh boy. How greedy should we be? Tenement Crasher time? Could get countered. And if it gets countered with that Jelly Slime, well, that's going to kill us anyway. Yeah. Time to cast Tenement Crasher and hope they don't have a pump spell for the Commandos, or find a white mana next turn. Actually, maybe we just leave it back to block. Then we're definitely not dead. Yeah, how about that? And that doesn't depend on them not drawing white. It doesn't depend on them not having a bounce spell. And if they had a bounce spell, it doesn't matter if we attack, so... yeah, I'm going to leave it back. Crunch. He's leashed. Nothing was going to stop it. Not the narrow alleys, not the Boros garrison, and certainly not the 4-story Orzhov Cathedral. Oh, you writers. It's just crashing through everything. Alright, bring it on, Commandos. You think you're all tough. But if you read the flavor text, you'd know that you're not going to block the Tenement Crasher. Alright, I like this play. Now we get to stab wound the anemones. Nemo would be proud. And we have Basilica Screecher too? So good. So our plan is just to do 3 damage a turn until our opponent folds. Counterspell? Could they? The only one I could imagine is the one that counters for the highest power of creature you have, but that wouldn't even do it. We just get to pay for it. Screecher time. Yeah, you like that stab wound, don't you? I'm glad we picked it up, because it's much better here than the 2-1 would be. That's a serious clock, and you probably just side out Clinging Anemones versus a stab wound. It's just the perfect target for it. And I guess it could get bigger. It's going to evolve much more easily. So that's a thing. And we could also Deviant Glee up this Basilica Screecher. Not only do we get to extort 1 off it, but all sorts of good stuff happens. Come on, reach, get there. Razor Tip Whip. Bow, right in the face. Okay. Rakdos Shred Freak. How many? We just want to maximize the extort triggers we get. And this guy doesn't attack very well, so let's get Deviant Glee onto this thing. Extort. And maybe next turn we extort off Rakdos Shred Freak, but I don't want to play it here. Maybe I do, actually. Just as a blocker. Is this what we want? If they draw white, like, we're probably dead unless we play the Shred Freak out there. Yeah, I think this is what we want. And who cares about the extra extort trigger? They're dead next turn anyway. Like, they're down to 4 here, and we're doing, well, 4 next turn. And the stab wound is also a factor. Yeah, I mean, what do they have? Yeah. 5. Get to extort, but not really. Ooh, you know what? Does this even work? You may have this thing, it can't block as long as it has a 1/1 counter on it. Uh-oh. Oh, they're killing their own. That's funny. They're killing their own clinging anemones because it evolved. So it doesn't hurt our Crasher, but it does save them a few life, which might not affect things. Might not be enough from them. But one interesting thing they could do is return Crassus incubation, and then our guy couldn't block. Well, it can't block anyway right now, but then they could start putting it on another creature. So they could return it, put it on Tenement Crasher, and attack with 3 creatures and kill us, assuming they drew a white and enough mana to do all that. That would be a little next level. I mean, it's not too far out of the, you know, the realm of possibility, but it'd be kind of interesting if they did that. Yeah, I mean, it doesn't matter if you unleashed it. It can get unleashed later just by putting a 1/1 counter on it. I guess it's big enough at that point to break its own chains. What is this thing even? You can't even tell what this thing is. Oh, I finally get it, I think. It's got like a horn and its face up to the top left and its arms behind its back. And then, I don't know, the rest is just its spiky serpent body. I always thought it was a big old mouth or something coming towards us. I don't know. This is why we have throwback drafts, to find out things that you never saw before. So aren't they just dead here? Come on. I hope so. And they haven't attacked. It's a good sign. And that thing has trample. Oh, the reach one would have been so good here for them. But no such luck. If this is all they have, they are taking 1 and then 3 and then 1. And that equals not so much. The 5-5 standoff here. They did beat the stab wound. They got rid of the stab wound. Okay. Oop, I almost missed it. Phew. That's what I get for talking so much. Well, I didn't miss it, though. That's the bonus. Are they dead here? They have no reach. They might have tap creatures down or something, bounce creature. But if not, they are getting whipped. If we missed a whip, we would have had to draw a spell there. Well, it's not clear we're dead if we don't. The trample is scary. But, yeah, that's the turn where they would have done it. If we don't attack with the spawn there, or of course we can't attack with it, but if we don't kill them that turn, they return the incubation on their end step, play it back on this thing, and attack out. And then they might get us. So that game was closer than it looked, maybe. Cremate's interesting. Is that worth playing? I think our deck's set up pretty well how it is, to be honest. And if we're trading with creatures that, you know, it's going to take them a long time to use Scavenge anyway to get their creature back. So this is fine, but it's not necessary. Just submit like this. The other thing is we saw one pretty good artifact. Maybe that's enough to bring in the guy, but this is fine. This is also an okay hand. It does have some earlier plays than we had last time, and it could certainly draw into more action. We've got a little shock. Pretty shocking. And here's the combo. Turn 3 Hellraiser Goblin into turn 4 Cobble Brute. With shock backup. As long as they never play a blocker, it's actually pretty good for us. Come on, 2-drop? Nope, more land. So what is this? A little 2 toughness creature? Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Burn it. Just so the Hellraiser Goblin gets at least 1 free hit in. Makes combat easy. And if they stutter here, it's unlikely, but if they do, Cobble Brute gets nuts. Oh, it's still nuts. Because they can't really kill either of our creatures. Turn them sideways. Take 5. Yeah, and this should get it done from here on out. They might get to evolve the anemones. Yeah, they do. Interesting. Interesting. So, looks like the right play here is going to be to Augur Spree the Crassus. Attack in. Either they trade Cobble Brute with the anemones, or we get in 5 damage. Can't do much better than that. If they have some hexproof nonsense here with Simic Charm, then I guess we'll just have to deal. Augur Spree, good lord. Well, they have something. They did have it. Permanents you control get hexproof this turn. Alright, looks like we're just trading with everything. So we don't have any follow-up to this. Yeah, we actually just lose everything, and they only lose Battering Crassus. Ouch. Knowing the format means you know the card that's worst for you. But were there any options there? The other option was just not to play Augur Spree and let this happen naturally. Or maybe they would have gotten greedy and played it, and we could have responded, but it's unlikely. Alright, so we've got to come back from whatever this is. 13 damage. I'm not going to cast Skullcrack unless they would gain life. Yeah, because now it'll be better with an Extort trigger. They have no white either, so we could potentially trade this creature for the Tower Drake if they attack. I would rather just get in some damage with it, though. Yeah. If we get an attack here, that's just something to be more happy about. Make sure to get at least 1 Extort trigger off here before coming in for the attack. And I don't want to do it off the Skullcrack yet. Hopefully they have no Golgari nonsense to bring back. We know they do. Usually I just get a land off the top, which is just good for them, if anything. Not having to draw an extra forest there. Alright, are they at 11, or do they have some stuff? Oh, Skyline Predator. No. That's no good. Well, that's a good one to know about for next game. We called the Simic Charm, but I didn't call the Skyline Predator. Crassus Incubation on this guy. Ugh. So now they're getting in for 5 a turn. And we still don't have them under 10, so not the best shape. Fortunately, we won that first match, or first game. Because there's not a lot that saves us here. Well, that's a start. Grizzly Spectacle. Are we on the mill plan now? Is that what this is? Anything they could do on our turn, they could do on their upkeep, but at least it spends some mana. So I'll put a stop on their upkeep to kill the Tower Drake. Not the Tower Drake, the Predator. Means we're dying in 5 turns instead of 2. Another Simic Charm? Nope. Let's get some planes here. Planes for their Tower Drake. Come on, we still need some more good stuff. So what's it going to be? Well, just attacking there, no problem. I'll still hold on to this Skullcrack. Now, what about this Rakdos Cackler? Is it even worth playing? That's the question. It doesn't block. It doesn't do anything. I just hold it back. It could be a cheap play for later in the game when we find our next Hellraiser Goblin. We empty our hand. They all have to attack. They all have haste. Okay. Because it certainly doesn't attack past this 3/6 defender. Stab Wound would be a welcome card now, but even if we get Stab Wound, it might be better to put that on the Tower Drake, just so it doesn't kill us. Alright, they're drawing lands. We're drawing lands. A bit of a stalemate. A stalemate that they're winning very quickly. Because that's what a stalemate is, right? Well, we can take the stop off their upkeep because we don't have any more plays there. So, how's game 3 sounding? Oh, okay. Come on, better be something good. Now's about the time where we play out a Rakdos Cackler in defense mode. Get this guy out there too, why not? Tenement Crasher doesn't even do it here. Uh-oh. Well, that's not that good. Like, we still get to block with our dude. So we're at 1. Nothing can save us, certainly not that. Let's go to game 3. That must have been fun to watch. that old game there. Batterhorn, okay, so they've played Selesnya Keyrune every game. They might only have 1 artifact in the deck, though. So on the play, I mean, this guy's okay no matter what, right? Tenement Crasher has haste, but like, this guy kills an artifact. I'll make that switch. That's fair enough. So make that switch. Maybe we'll find some card draw here, or Razor Tip Whips. Going into game 3. So the Batterhorn's pretty good with the Hellraiser Goblin. Just like, I mean, Tenement Crasher doesn't really get any better with the Hellraiser Goblin. We'll be on the play, so that's an important part of this match. And this is a pretty good hand to keep with it. We can extort off the Razor Tip Whip, which is just a little better than activating it on turn 3. And eventually we'll find our red, which we'll need. Not yet, not yet. Okay. So they might flash in a big 3/6 flying, so better get the whip out there first. Yeah, wouldn't that be something? Nice, we got some damage in, and then just, 9 more turns and we should have this. Oh, that thing's gonna draw cards. How annoying. Well, we could trouble him here. That would do 6 damage to them. Or we could Grizzly Spectacle. That's probably good too. Geez, I don't know. So this does 7, this is 8 damage to them, they go to 10. Then they get to draw a card with Stealer of Secrets. Not too afraid of that. Or we could wait for Toil and Trouble. I don't know. This is tough. 6 damage is pretty good, though. Yeah, let's do that. Get to extort it. Let them draw some cards, but you know, when you have 6 cards in hand, what's another card? It's not. It might find the right card, the exact card you needed, but more often it's just going to be another card you can't necessarily play. Okay, so you can steal a secret from us. If we draw land, we're in pretty good shape. If they play an artifact, we're in really good shape. Come on. Yes! We got there. Land, land, please. They don't have a gate yet, so that doesn't help them too much. Ah, we didn't quite get there. The Balustrade Spy's okay, though. We don't get to extort off it. But we do get to mill our opponent. Does that help us at all? Not really. Well, it gets rid of a plains temporarily. All right, I'm feeling good about this game. We're at 20 life. We've got a lot of recurable threats in play with evasion, and a lot of powerful cards in our hand. All of them either do damage to our opponent, kill a creature, or make a creature and kill a creature. So what to do now? I could imagine them casting Simic Charm on this. We don't need to give them a free card. Use up some mana. Simic Charm to give that guy power, and they don't draw a card. Yeah, that's fine. Now the Simic Charm is out of hand. Bellows Lizard. Nice little extort guy here. Friendly lizard. Are they going to flash in a flyer here? I don't think there's any 4-drop flash flyers to be worried about. And this guy's a good blocker for the Greenside Watcher. Uh-oh, here comes the Wolfie. Does it become an actual wolf? Yeah, white wolf artifact creature. Okay. Block this guy. And they get to draw a card. That's all fine. Wow, that is a chunk of life, though. That doesn't feel super comfortable from this end. Keep, stop on opponent's turn. That's a little scary. Let's attack first. I don't want to give them the opportunity to pump on their turn, so I will burn this now. Oh, could we have killed them? No, I don't think it quite puts them dead. They'd be at 1 after this. Still pretty good, but I mean, punish the enemy will do the same thing. So once, ooh, shoot. Ugh. Okay. This is quite nonsense. Oh, here's the big flyer. We really screwed this up. Tell you what, though. Let's Grizzly Spectacle this and extort. All right, they're not having it. Cool, so they don't know about Punish the Enemy. And we got the match. Even though we kind of screwed up that last Razor Tip Whip, they should have been at 1 less. And then Punish the Enemy wins immediately. But we got it, and we're on to the next match.